So we just received version 3 of this year's speculation map from Horror Nights Nightmares. In this video, we're going to be going over all of the changes and additions coming up next.
What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel that takes you through the fog with version 3 of the speculation map released by HNNightmares just recently, and we're going to go ahead and break all of that down here soon. But if you guys are new here to the channel, be sure to subscribe and click that bell icon to be notified when we do post the upcoming videos leading up to this year's HHN31. But now let's go ahead and move forward with today's video.
So here is the new version of the map that we recently received from Horror Nights Nightmares. You will notice that this is the first full map that we have. We have all 10 houses, all 5 scare zones, and both shows listed on this map. So in this new version of the map, you'll see that there are 7 of the returning houses from the last speculation map, and then 3 of them have changed.
Now those 7 houses that are returning from the last speculation map, we're actually not going to go ahead and discuss them since we've already discussed them in previous videos, which we're going to go ahead and leave in the description down below if you guys want to check that out. However, we did get those 3 new additions into this speculation map, so let's go ahead and talk about those.
Those 3 new houses are the Evil Dead, which we actually did have in version 1 of the speculation map, and then went away for version 2 and now is back. And then we have 2 originals. So the first one is Witch, and then we have Seeds of Extinction 2, which we have no idea what it's going to be about. Of course, probably something about witches. We're really hoping for like old school witches, very traditional, not anything like newer or modern. And then we have Seeds of Extinction 2. So we had the first original Seeds of Extinction house in 2018, and this was a fan favorite for that year. A lot of people really enjoyed this house. So I'm pretty excited to see if they do a part 2, what they'll do with it.
Now, if you guys do notice, those 3 new ones did replace Stranger Things as well as Wicked Growth 2, and we did lose Underground Creatures. Now, we personally are a little bummed to see that Stranger Things and Wicked Growth 2 were on the chopping block for this speculation map. Those were our most anticipated houses from the last speculation map, and the way that Stranger Things Season 4 is going, it's a pretty strong season and seems like it would be great for a house this year. And then, of course, Wicked Growth was our absolute favorite house from last year's event, and we thought having a second version coming to the event or a sequel to that would be absolutely amazing for this year. So that's it for the houses that were added into the speculation map, as well as the ones that we lost. Now, we didn't really go much into detail about those new houses and what our opinions are and what we think they will be as much, because this coming Tuesday, we're actually going to go ahead and do a live stream with all of you guys where we're going to go ahead and break them down more in depth and give you guys more of our opinions on what we feel that this event's going to be, especially with those houses, as well as the scare zones and that show. But let's go ahead and move on with the scare zones. So those 5 new scare zones that we received are Traditional Halloween, Candy Mutants, Treeks and Foons, as well as Scarecrow and Vampires. Now we're actually going to go around the park counterclockwise, starting with the street of Hollywood, and that scare zone is Vampires.
Now we're super excited for Vampires, of course, because we love Dracula and the vampires, but we are hoping that this is, again, more of a traditional take on vampires instead of what we see in like the vamp streets.
So it's probably going to be more of like an old Victorian styled age vampire looking street. We think something more along the lines of like Transylvania type of vibes, where it's like castles and darkness and bats and vampires. So something more along that lines of a traditional type of street.
So continuing on, the next street that we have is in Central Park, which is going to be Scarecrow. Now we had this on the last speculation map as well, but this is another one that gives off that traditional Halloween vibe, and we also feel like it'll be similar to the Scarecrow house.
Headed across the lagoon to the streets of San Francisco, we actually have a returning scare zone called Treeks and Foons. Now, if you guys do remember last year in HHN30, we did have a scare zone called Lights, Camera, Action, Eddie's Revenge, which actually did feature the characters of Treeks and Foons. So we're actually going to get this in a blown up scare zone at San Francisco, which we're excited to see. We did enjoy having those characters around. They are a fun little take. Kind of reminds us of like Killer Clowns type of vibe. So that's going to kind of be like our campy section in this year's HHN31.
And next up is one of my favorite areas for Scarezones, or one of my favorite streets, which is New York, and we're getting Candy Mutants. We have no idea what to expect for this, but it sounds interesting.
And finally, moving on to our last scare zone on the list, which is in the front of the park, also known as Minions Land now. They're actually going to have the traditional Halloween scare zone. This is on top of our most anticipated list for scare zones already, if this does come true, just because it gives the like traditional Halloween vibe of the holiday, not just like HHN. So we're excited to see what this is going to be. We think either along the lines of what like Trick or Treat was when it was a scare zone, having people out dressed in costumes and doing like, you know, walking around like trick or treating, or it could just feature like the old lore of Halloween and some of the things that we know, like vampires, ghosts, bats, pumpkins, witches, and all of that stuff.
Yeah, and this street is typically the theme of the year. It typically reflects the theme of the year, so it seems like this year we are getting a traditional Halloween year, which we are so excited for. We actually talked about this in a few videos before, and we think that this is the perfect year to do a traditional Halloween theme because it is the 31st. Halloween is on the 31st. So we are super excited for that.
Now, in my opinion, I feel like these scare zones are the strongest topic of the speculation map versus the houses. I don't really feel like we have a strong IP for this year, really. It does seem like we have a good lineup right now, especially with the official announcements of Halloween and Universal Classic Monsters Legends Collide. But the scare zones seem like that's where we're gonna spend most of our time, is just chilling out and walking around these scare zones, especially if they're gonna do that traditional vibe. But we have one more thing to talk about, and that is the show that was added on this speculation map, which is Nightmare Fuel. We're talking a return of last year's fan favorite Nightmare Fuel, which we were huge fans of then, and we would very much be excited to have it come back to this year's HHN31.
So that is it for this version of the speculation map. We officially have all 10 houses, 5 scare zones, and 2 shows on the map. But we know that that will likely change again, which we of course will update you all on. So if you are not subscribed, make sure you do that. And remember that we do have that live coming up on Tuesday, the 21st, where we're going to dive deeper into all of these changes that were made and our opinions.
Also, we would like to know what you guys think about this version of the speculation map. Are you guys big fans of it? Do you think that there's still going to be some changes and improvements, or are you just not a fan of it at all? Just let us know in the comments down below. So with all of that being said, that's going to do it for us in this video. And until the next one, we can't wait to see you guys there and catch you guys in the fog. Peace out, guys.
Bye.